Welcome to our 8th International Conference on Natural Resources and Sustainable Environmental Management. Also, we will be hosting another international conference, the 5th International Conference on Water Problems in Mediterranean Countries. Today, we have successfully completed Session 1 and Session 2. Now we will continue with Session 3. We have 6 researchers that they will be sharing us very valuable insights based on their research. Now we will start with Professor Dr. Ibrahim Gürer.
Today, I would like to make a presentation on the share of renewable energy sources in the energy demand of Turkey and how it can be kept sustainable. As you know, Turkey has a surface area about 780,580 kilometers square, and a population again about 85 million or about 86 million, and electric energy is essential for the everyday life. The energy demand in Turkey, because actually during the corrections I made all the Turkey words Türkiye, but when I speak English, I'm sorry, sometimes I cannot shift. So please excuse me. Now, in Turkey, increases not only by improving the living standards of people and industrial development, but also with the population increase. This population increase is not our normal rate of increase in a population, but being a Middle East country, well, we had so much immigration to Turkey, therefore there is a big population increase now in Turkey because of the immigration, international immigration. And another thing is that we are not producing oil. Therefore, we have to be very careful with the import fossil fuels because we pay a lot of money for natural gas, coal, and fuel oil. Therefore, in order to minimize the air pollution and also in order to minimize the import, the consumption of imported energy sources had to be reduced just for environmental purpose, economic purpose, and also I add one more sentence or word about diplomatic reasons. So we have to decrease it. Consumption should be decreased from the imported sources of energy. Now, the share of renewables in Turkey's installed power reached about to 56% at the end of the 2024. Well, you will see many percentages here because now I have 19, 23, 24 period percentages. I have June 1925. At the end of June, corrected at the end of July, so many figures, but rather than these figures, I will try to give you the basic idea. For a sustainable energy run, well, we have to pay attention to the ecological impacts of the wind systems and then solar energy systems and of all kinds of renewable energy production structures. We have to minimize it, not only during construction period, but also during the operation period. But nowadays, especially the last 3 or 4 years, we basically speak about climate change. And we know that it changed existing environmental condition for most parts of the world. Therefore, it's very important to pay attention to the climate change and then act accordingly. Now, solar energy accounts 6%, and then wind energy 10%. Hydropower is still good, 22%. And then Turkey actually generates 42% of its electricity from renewable sources. Last year, 58% of Turkish electricity was generated from fossil fuels. This is still very high ratio. Although we have a high potential for renewable energy generation because of the topography, because of the parallel and meridian degrees and the location in Middle East, the country aims to generate 47% of its electricity from the renewable sources by 2030. And then we try to fulfill this promise to the Turkish people. Because we know that as the share of renewables will increase, the cost of electricity will continue to decrease. In 2024, the wind and solar generated 18% of electricity in Turkey. But at the same time, imported coal makes about 61% of the coal-fired electricity generation in the same year. Now, if we speak about the energy figures again, a little bit more in Turkey and also installed power capacity. Energy sector report prepared with two organizations trying to, their expertise in Middle East, two companies related with the energy statistics and energy market. 56.6% of the installed power capacity in Turkey consists of renewable energy sources. Installed power capacity by type is hydropower plants with 32 gigawatt. Between the years 2023, renewable energy installed capacity increased from 11.2 gigawatt to 62 gigawatt, representing a 7.7 compound annual growth rate. I did not know exactly this economic term, but I found it from the dictionary. The compound annual growth rate is the annual rate of return that shows how an investment grows from its beginning value to its ending value over time. So this is compound annual growth rate. So with the increased diversification of resources, particularly after 2010, renewable energy capacity achieved about 10.3% compound annual growth rate. And then out of about 110 gigawatt installed capacity of Turkey, hydroelectric plants constitute the largest parts, as I mentioned before. By source types, it is 32 gigawatt. Of this, dam-based power plants, 22%, and river-based hydropower plants constitute 8%. Dam-based power plants, they are expensive, and you have to make investments 8 years, 10 years. But river-based hydropower plants, they are easy to build, and then the system is same, build, operate, and then give it back to state. But in nuclear power plant, it is not that system. Build, own, and operate. So, from in 2024, 35% of Turkish electricity production was generated from coal. About 19% from natural gas, 22% from hydropower, 11% from wind, about 8% solar, 3.2% from geothermal, and 3.2% from other sources. Well, now I speak about how much we generate. So electric generation is installed capacity. At the end of June 2025, our installed capacity reached about 120 megawatt. And the installed capacity was distributed by source: 27% hydropower, about 21% natural gas, 18 coal, and 11 wind, and then 19 solar, and about 1.4 geothermal, and 2.2 from other sources. What are the number of electricity generation plants in Turkey? The number of electricity generation plants increased from 36,000. In parentheses, I underline the word unlicensed plants, including unlicensed plants, as of the end of the June 2025. 77 hydraulic, 72 coal, 381 wind, 66 geothermal, 338 natural gas, 34,411 solar, and 444 are other type of power plants. And this information has been updated July 21 July 25. Here it is in tabular form. Now, number of projects in operation, under construction, in program, in total. And the second column is total installed capacity in megawatt, annual average energy production, terawatt hour per year, and then the ratio out of 100, or compared to total. Under construction, steel, as you see, 148, in program, too many, 1,418, and total 1,738. And these are the DSI report, Turkey water report of Turkey, and the State Hydraulic Works report. In run on river type, small plants, there is one thing I would like to tell my listeners. There is always a certain section along the river between the regulator and the tail race. And this part is actually should survive with the environmental flow. That is compared about 10% of the mean annual flow for the last 10 years. And measured at the site. But when you measure it at the site, sometimes you cannot see anything. And then walnut trees, and then villages without wastewater disposal system suffer quite a lot, smell, and also no water for the continuation of the agricultural life. So, although this is the situation, Turkey's installed capacity reached almost 120 megawatt at the end of June 2025, and this distribution is, as I mentioned, 27 hydropower, 21 natural gas, 18 coal, 11.3 wind, 20% solar, 1.4 geothermal, and 2.2 other sources. It's very interesting. The coal we use for energy production is actually good quality coal. But if the thermal capacity of the coal is low, as it is in Poland, then the rentability of the coal is low, and the environmental disturbance due to the smoke and other things are really visible. All the local available energy sources should be developed, and this is my personal idea, also should be developed and put into service as quickly and efficiently as possible. The local infrastructure, that means we have to use the local industry to produce all those manufacturing industries for the energy projects to be provided. But at the moment, we are still very much based on the outside and the outside imports in the dam construction and dam hydro machinery and the other sources of energy. Now, this is the final figure. References are given at the corners, and then the left-hand side figure is primary global energy consumption. As you see, oil is this one, natural gas is this one, and then coal is this one. And altogether, it is almost 82% from the fossil. But the renewable energy is nuclear energy, hydroelectric, and renewables. Only 8.2% is from the renewable energy, hydroelectric 6.4%, and then nuclear energy 4%. But these are global energy consumption figures. Please pay attention. In case of Turkey, the green part on the right-hand side is actually low carbon production, and then that is at the moment 46% total from hydropower, wind, solar, geothermal, biofuels. But coal, gas, and then fossil fuels and imports, they are 54%. And this is low carbon power org, the reference. Global energy consumption, that means demand and production, supply, according to AMBER. As I mentioned, there are so many energy-related companies in Middle East. AMBER is one of them, and he has released a global energy outlook report, and then it gives information about 80 countries, and then accounts for 92 global energy demand. So, accordingly, global energy demand reached record high, about 30 terawatt hour last year. Global electricity demand grew slowly last year, primarily due to declining of consumption in developed countries because it's so expensive. I mean, even the electric is so expensive in Turkey. The fastest growing sources of electricity actually solar and wind energy. And then I will not give more figures, and there is some information about China, United States, Brazil, Canada, and India, as you see on the slides. Bioenergy sources accounted a small percentage, 2.4% of global energy. And coal and natural gas, electricity, 30% of global energy electricity production for the first time, but it has declined. Coal and natural gas was 35, 22, correspondingly, of global electricity production, respectively, respectively, last year. Electricity from the coal gas increased 1.4% because actually in 2053 we promised that we will have zero carbon emission. So we have to pay attention also because of that reason. In Turkish energy, there are little bit more information, general information. Half of the Turkish electric power generation capacity is becoming renewable. And it includes hydroelectric, wind, solar, geothermal, and biomass. And then currently 32 gigawatt hydroelectric, 26 gigawatt natural gas, 21 gigawatt coal, and about 12 gigawatt wind, 9.10 gigawatt solar, 1.7 geothermal, and approximately 2 gigawatt biomass. The annual growth rate in additional power generation capacity has been around 5% due to growing economic activity and rising population in Turkey. And as I mentioned, net zero emission, that is our promise. So we have to continue supporting renewable energy investment. Well, I would like to say a few words about how we support it. And nuclear energy project is both build, operate, transfer, or build, own, operate as it is with Russia. Turkey is also open to the public-private partnership. Government provides purchase guarantee. That means whatever you produce in your thermal power plant or in your hydropower plant or in your run-on-river type power plants, I will buy it. And then high feed-in tariff, which means I will pay more money till your debt is recovered. I have to speak about this unlicensed capacity if I have time. Just a few, how many slides now already? Okay, I have 3 more slides. Now, energy investments of less than 5 megawatt do not require license from the Energy Regulatory Authority. Roof-type solar energy productions and also sell their electricity to the state, and the upper limit is 5 megawatt. And 10 kilowatt if they are home owners. That means if you rent a place and try to sell it to state, 5 maximum megawatt. But 10 kilowatt is if you own it. For example, in our university has solar panels, and then that means since we are the owner, 10 kilowatt, we can sell it. And then solar and wind energy investments receive customs duty exemptions, corporate tax deduction, and other incentives. So these are the advantages the state provide to the people who would like to invest in the renewable energy. Again, if you have a renewable energy power plants for agriculture purpose, portable water, wastewater treatment, you don't need, again, license, unlicensed. Solar and wind energy consumers are entitled net metering with the grid operator. That means interconnected system energy measuring devices will be used. And then open. Also, these systems, the government provides power purchase guarantee. I have already mentioned about that. Now, this is the first page with the tables. Installed capacity of Turkey. Run-on-river, surplus heat, dams, biomass, natural gas, geothermal, lignite, LNG, motoring, naphtha. There are very little wind and hard coal. And then this is the installed capacity with the number of units. But in the second graph, Turkish electric generation production in megawatt hour and as percentage, again, the same items. Well, there are some key points. I would like to repeat them. Total energy production is given. Wind is given. Solar energy is given. And the hydroelectric energy given, geothermal, biomass, renewable energy, thermal power plant. These are the energy production, electricity production information from the above tables. Now, there is a reference. This is total renewable energy, and we are actually there is a report, and in this report is reference number 12, and this is I have to check the number, because from now on I have to mention about their figures. All right, I will tell the name. The annual renewable capacity data of countries at Eurasia region between 215 224. And these capacity values is annual. For the total, this is Eurasia, the second row. And then Russia is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the number 5 row, and Turkey is the last one. The renewable power capacity data shown in the table above represent the maximum net generating capacity over power plants and other installations that use renewable energy sources to produce electricity, full stop. For most of the countries and technologies, data reflects the end of the calendar year. And then the capacities are expressed in megawatt. Now, what they are going to discuss in their reports: total renewable energy, hydropower, pure pumped storage, marine energy, wind energy, onshore, offshore, values, solar energy, and then solar photovoltaic, and then bioenergy, liquid, biogas, geothermal, renewable, municipal waste, etc. And here are the figures I have selected purposely from 2015 to and 2025. As you see here, for example, total renewable energy was 31,516 as megawatt, and then it was 68,000. There was a big increase, about 118%. But if you continue like this, there are some irregularities. Photovoltaic, for example, it was 249, and then 1982, and this is official sources information. No, this is not a realistic figure, but when it is changed to compound rate of interest, then this figure will change. And then during the same period, at the same years, here is Eurasia. And the Eurasia countries actually are Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russian Federation, and Turkey. And America is different, South America is different, Canada is different, Australia is different in different maps, but all these data for all those countries are available. Now, that's all what I would like to say. As a conclusion, I have to say that if we are going to pay more attention to the renewables, we have to pay attention that local industry, Turkish industry, will support the system and then improve. Now, like as in the Aselsan system, as in the Havelsan system and others. And then the report I have mentioned by giving the average values is IRANA report. IRANA is Renewable Energy Capacity Statistics, and 2025 was the last report. And here is the other extra references, and here is the main references. And so much for your for the renewable energy share in Turkish hydropower in Turkish power industry. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, I am ready to give.
Thank you. Thank you, Hocam. Thank you, Professor Ibrahim Gürer. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution for our conferences. As always, we would like to see you again in our next conferences. Thank you very much. Any question will be directly forwarded to your email. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hocam.
Kapatıyorum.
Everyone, we have just listened Professor Dr. Ibrahim Gürer. It was a very nice discussion actually. Now our next presenter will be Dr. Barış Salihoğlu.
Hi everyone. I will try to share my slides. I think I need to share my full screen. Is that how it works? Just give me a second.
No worries, hocam. No worries.
I'm not used to the system using this. I share the screen. Share screen. Okay. Window. Entire screen.
Hocam, you can try to share your screen or upload your presentation file, but I think the sharing screen will be the better option.
I am trying to do that, but I need to go to my system settings for that, or what? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, here. I think I am managing it. Allow. I need to restart Chrome if I need to.
Hocam, what kind of problems are you facing? Maybe we can help.
When I try to share screen, it says you need to go to Google Chrome and change your system settings, which I did. But then I need to restart Google. I can only share tabs on Chrome and not a window. Is that true?
You should be, if you are going to present from Chrome, you should be able to select which window. Maybe you can open 2 different Google Chromes. And after you can select the one with your presentation.
But my presentation is not in Chrome, it's in PowerPoint.
Hocam, okay, it will be better. You can open your PowerPoint and after from share screen, choose the one with the PowerPoint, not the Google Chrome. There should be few options about which one to choose.
Okay, I'm uploading it at the moment. Alo. Duymuyorum. Sen paylaştın. Şimdi benim bir Pınar Uygurer ekranı paylaşacak.
Yes, everyone. We have some little difficulties with Professor Barış. So while Professor Barish is going to try to solve his problem, we can continue by Gülsüm Aşıksoy's presentation.
Participants, I'm Gülsüm Aşıksoy from the Faculty of Artificial Intelligence and Informatics. Today I'm pleased to speak on a crucial subject that directly impacts human life and ecological balance. Over the last few decades, we have seen big changes in our world. Rapid urbanization, industrial growth, and a growing population are putting strong pressure on our global water resources. Today, freshwater ecosystems face serious threats. We deal with untreated domestic waste, runoff from farms that contains fertilizers, pesticides, and industrial discharge with organic toxins. But the problem is not only factories. Everyday products also play an important role. Personal care products enter our sewage systems. Some of them act like hormones and stay in water for a long time. We call these substances emergent organic contaminants. Even in very small amounts, they can cause long-term damage to the environment. But here is the real problem. Most of our water monitoring systems today are still based on methods developed 50 years ago. These methods are slow, they are manual, and they usually tell us the results after the damage is done. So we have modern pollution problems, but we are trying to solve them with old tools. This gap clearly shows us one thing: we need a new paradigm. To understand why we need a new paradigm, let's first look at the traditional indicators we have relied on for many years. For many years, we have trusted two main indicators: BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, and COD, chemical oxygen demand. They have been effectively tools for us. But these tools have serious limitations. First, think about time. A BOD test takes 5 full days to finish. Second, COD relies on chemical reagents, so it doesn't always show us the true biological picture. Third, they are completely blind to micropollutants. And most importantly, they are not real-time. They fail to catch sudden spikes in pollution. Waiting days for a lab results, that simply delays the critical decisions we need to make to save the environment. This is where artificial neural networks come in. They are the ideal tools for finding meaningful patterns in environmental data, which is often messy, noisy, and complex. So, what makes them so powerful? First, they are great at handling nonlinear relationships. They understand that nature doesn't always follow a straight line. Second, they learn. The more data we feed them, the smarter they get. Third, they can process a constant stream of data from our sensors without getting tired. And finally, speed. Once the model is trained, it gives us predictions in seconds. Now, I want to be clear about one thing. Artificial neural network models don't replace traditional laboratories. Instead, they work alongside them. The question is, how does the neural networks actually predict pollution? Imagine a well-designed model acting like a sponge. It absorbs a huge amount of data from simple sensors all at the same time. I'm talking about basic parameters like temperature, pH, dissolved oxygen, turbidity, and flow rate. The model learns the hidden relationship between these simple inputs and complex pollution levels. Once it learns this, it can do three amazing things. It gives us an instant BOD estimate. It predicts pollution spikes hours before they happen. And it gives us an early warning before contaminants reach a critical level. This is especially useful for emerging contaminants I mentioned before. They are hard to find in a lab, but the AI uses the other data as a proxy. It tells us something is wrong here without needing a complex chemical analysis. The results, we protect our ecosystems, we cut down on treatment costs, and most importantly, we prevent environmental crises before they even start. Today, we are seeing neural networks integrated into water systems all over the world. Let me give you a few real-world examples. First, look at smart wastewater treatment plants. By using AI to optimize aeration, these facilities are cutting their energy consumptions by 30 to 40%. That is a huge saving. Second, river monitoring stations. We can now predict pollution spikes caused by heavy rain, agriculture runoff, or industrial accidents before they become a disaster. Third, coastal waters. AI is helping us forecast harmful algal blooms caused by organic pollution, protecting our marine life. And finally, smart cities. Imagine sensors feeding data to the cloud in a real time, creating dynamic water quality maps for the entire city. These examples prove one thing clearly: this technology works and it delivers real, practical value. So, what does the future hold? In the coming years, water quality monitoring will change dramatically. One of the key developments in edge computing. With edge computing, prediction models can run directly on sensors. This allows systems to respond instantly. There is no waiting time. Decisions are made in real time. Second, hybrid AI neural networks will combine with deep learning and genetic algorithms. This will give us even more precise predictions. Third, digital twins. We will have virtual copies of our treatment plans. We can run real-time simulation using AI data. And finally, detecting micropollutants. Over time, these models will become smart enough to recognize the specific chemical fingerprints of medicines and personal care products. In short, the water systems of the future will be smart, connected, and adaptable. Before I finish, I want to touch on something very important, our ethics and responsibilities. Using these powerful AI tools comes with a duty. We have to focus on four things. First, data quality. If we put bad data in, we get bad results out. We must guarantee accuracy. Second, transparency. These models shouldn't be secrets. We need to understand how and why they make a decision. Third, education. We need to train our environmental engineers and operators to work with this technology. And finally, collaboration. Universities, the industry, and the government start working together. I want to leave you with this clear message on this slide. AI doesn't replace human expertise. It empowers it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for Professor Gülsüm Aşıksoy's presentation. Now our next presenter will be Professor Barış Salihoğlu.
Okay, just give me a minute, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, hocam, we can hear you.
Tamam, I hope I will manage to share this time. Okay, can you see?
Not yet, hocam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is appearing.
Now?
Yes,
Okay.
hocam. Can you try to change the pages, please? Yes, hocam.
Yes.
Everything is okay. Yes, hocam.
Okay.
Everything is okay.
Okay, I will try to be quick. And yeah, thanks a lot for the invitation. And today I will talk about digital twin ocean demonstrator application for the Black Sea. And this will be part of the Bridge Black Sea project that I'm coordinating. But to begin with, I would like to talk about the world oceans and how they're beneficial for the human beings. And the world oceans provide many services, and these services include, for example, the oxygen that they provide to us, and they store most of the carbon dioxide. They store 50 times more carbon dioxide than the atmosphere. And in terms of climate regulation and regulating the ocean heat content, the seas and oceans have a very critical role. But they also provide us direct products like medicine and seafood. And the other services include tourism, for example, and transportation. And most of the tourism that takes part is dependent on the seas and the oceans. And the trade routes, they are highly dependent on the seas, and many people rely on the oceans in terms of food. For example, 3.3 million people at least at the moment meet their protein needs from the seas. And the seas store most of the carbon dioxide that humans produce, and blue carbon is very critical in that responsibility. And there are many emerging sectors like ocean energy and biotechnology that's growing very fast in terms of economic value. However, while seas and oceans provide us these services, they suffer under many different stressors. Apart from climate change, there's deoxygenation, acidification, overfishing, invasive species, pollution, and the functioning of many other sectors. They exert a pressure on the oceans. And to solve these problems, there are options that we can take under the blue economy pathway. And first of all, we need to better understand the marine ecosystems and the services they provide and the pressures on them. And then we need to understand how we can provide solutions. And these solutions should definitely include new technologies, while considering the needs of the society and providing solutions for the policy. So Black Sea is one of these seas, and Black Sea has been suffering under many stressors over the last few decades. These include climate change, overfishing, deoxygenation, litter, invasive species, and many activities. And as part of the Bridge project, we have aimed to understand these pressures and develop solutions. And to do that, we have developed a digital twin of the Black Sea. The digital twins were being used in different areas, for example, in engineering and also in city planning and architecture for a long time, where a vast amount of data was already available. But more and more digital twins are being used for earth sciences. Although the data is not as much as engineering practices, there is still big quantities of data in terms of earth sciences. So the bridge project that I have been coordinating is now ending, and towards while it's ending, we have managed to develop a digital twin for the Black Sea, and this digital twin addresses a safe operating space and the planetary boundaries for the Black Sea. So it does that towards understanding and developing different solutions and pathways under multi-stressors towards a sustainable utilization of these ecosystem services. And if you go on the webpage of the Bridge Black Sea project, there you will see some results at different pilot areas in the Black Sea and in the overall basin, where we have identified the main multiple stressors that are acting on different areas and the key ecosystem services that these areas provide. And how Bridge Black Sea project is designed is that it was a truly co-design process, how we have defined the different problems, different stressors, key ecosystem services, and also different scenarios. And we did that in many different living labs in the Black Sea. And we have also developed the Black Sea Accelerator program, and we have conducted 2 high-tech summits where we have supported different startups. And empowering the citizens and also awareness and education activities were a key part of the Bridge project. To support how we can better understand the Black Sea dynamics, but also to better support the digital twins, we need observations. And as part of the Bridge Black Sea project, we have developed different forms of smart monitoring systems, which we wish to continue even after the project ends. And in terms of the digital twin ocean, we have developed a database and a Blue Economy Observatory and different scenarios that we can test with models. And to address the safe operating space, we have developed different tools, because addressing the safe operating space is not trivial. So you cannot just utilize one tool and address it. So what we did, we have developed an ensemble of coupled models. We carried out the resilience assessment, risk-based cumulative effect assessment, and we are using an AI-based emulator where we are in a fast way utilizing these tools. If we are going to define how the digital twin ocean should be, it should include a virtual representation of physics, chemistry, and biological properties. And it needs to have a data lake where these models are fed and these different analyses are being done. And it needs to have AI-driven data science and analytics and interoperability and standardization of these data. And the models should test different what-if scenarios, and models should be based off different applications. So we did this for the Black Sea. So we tested climate change scenarios, different fisheries scenarios, plastics, pollution for the Black Sea towards addressing the safe operating space in the Black Sea. And now the digital twin ocean of the Black Sea is on the EDITO system, which is a European initiative. And if you go on the EDITO system, you can directly access to the Black Sea digital twin ocean. And when you access, what you will see is that you will see the different physical and biogeochemical properties of the Black Sea under different scenarios. Here, for example, on the left, you see the circulation fields. You can see different fish species in the top middle. You can pick and see different fish species, how they evolve under different scenarios, and how different stressors are acting on the ecosystem can be seen through cumulative effect assessments. And as a new tool, we have developed the resilience assessment of the Black Sea. And this is how the portal looks like. So it's easy to use. It's very user-friendly. You don't need a special training. You can go and directly launch these different applications there. And this is, as you see here, when you go on the portal, you can pick different depths, different variables, and you see the results directly, both for the physics and for the biogeochemistry and the ecosystems under different climate scenarios, for example, SSP1 and SSP5 scenarios, and you can even compare them using the tools there. And in terms of higher trophic levels, you can pick different fish species and see how they evolve under different scenarios. Same with cumulative effect assessments and also the resilience assessment results can be directly accessed. And you can see under the notes what these results show. And the system will be supported by the National DECOSYM project that my institute is leading. And this center is turning into a national center, so it's very critical. It's the Center for Marine Ecosystems and Climate Research, where we conduct both observations and modeling in the Mediterranean, Marmara, and the Black Seas. And DECOSYM, as you see on the left top, conducts research in all the Turkish seas, and we develop many different tools towards observations, and these are fed into the digital twins that I have been showing you. And this digital twin is actually a first. It's a pioneering work towards the digital twin ocean framework. It's definitely a multi-actor process that is co-designed with stakeholders, addresses the ecosystem services, and it's a blueprint for advancing digital twin oceans towards decision support tools. And with this, I would like to end my talk. And again, I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barış Hocam. It was very nice presentation to listen. And Pınar Hocam was also shared with us in private the link. It was an interactive link. It's very valuable, actually, just not about pictures, but it's interactive. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hocam.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Our next presenter will be Fatosh Germirli Babuna.
Before starting my presentation, I would like to sincerely thank Professor Gökçekuş and his team for organizing these fruitful conferences. I believe that these conferences are very beneficial platforms for disseminating research activities on both natural resources and sustainable environmental management and water problems in Mediterranean countries. I am Fatosh Germirli Babuna from Istanbul Technical University. I will present you my study entitled Life Cycle Assessment as a Tool to Tackle Challenges Related to Industrial Pollution. You will see the content of my presentation. I will start by emphasizing the importance of defining the industrial pollution control. Then I will continue with introducing the objective of the study. Then comes the historical evolution of industrial pollution control by addressing and criticizing end-of-pipe treatment and in-plant control measures. Then I will talk about the connection of life cycle thinking and industrial pollution control in the context of sustainable industrial development. Digitalization will also be mentioned. I will also present brief information about life cycle assessment methodology. After giving some example cases, I will conclude. The objective of the study is to present the historical background of industrial pollution control and to point out the current significant aspects by referring to life cycle thinking. How we define industrial pollution control is very important in addressing the strategies to control the pollution generated. There are two different approaches. The first one covers only the activities that take place at industrial facilities. The second one, on the other hand, deals with both manufacturing plants and the products with their life cycles. Let us keep the importance of definition in mind and continue. When the definition of industrial pollution control only covers the activities that take place in industries, we have two ways to deal with pollution. Only end-of-pipe treatment, first in-plant control, and then end-of-pipe treatment. This slide shows the old way. The target is to protect a media. Therefore, we should control either air pollution or water pollution or soil pollution. Industrial processes are not important in this way of looking. So industrial processes are left as a black box. The most important issue is end-of-pipe treatment. So during the generation of wastes in an industry, nothing is done. A treatment is considered after generating the wastes. The emergence of the concepts such as sustainable industrial development, cleaner production technologies, waste minimization at source, xenobiotics, these are the foreign materials to the nature, green chemicals, green engineering, in-plant control measures. The old way is modified to cover the industrial processes. When industrial pollution control definition covers only the industrial facility, the modified way to deal with pollution is given in this slide. The aim is to protect the environment as a whole, giving us integrated holistic approach. In this modified way, for example, if aerobic biological treatment is applied to wastewaters, then the carbon dioxide emissions to the atmosphere as a result of this treatment should be considered. Therefore, while dealing with a kind of waste, another negative impact on another media should be taken into consideration. Stage-wise application refers to first concentrating on the in-plant control measures and after that dealing with the end-of-pipe treatment. When industrial pollution control definition covers only the industrial facility, the summary of the modified way of industrial pollution control is illustrated here. In-plant control measures followed by end-of-pipe treatment compose stage-wise application. A part of the in-plant control is process-related. The rest is about full or partial treatment of segregated waste streams. Among process-related in-plant control alternatives, reduction in water input, substitution of chemicals with eco-chemicals, wastewater or material recovery and reuse, modification of technologies and/or processes can be listed. One can find detailed information on in-plant control and end-of-pipe treatment options in best available techniques brief documents, reference documents produced by the European Union as part of the EU Industrial Emissions Directive. You will see here a couple of examples from these documents. Best available techniques, some are sector specific, some are applicable to many sectors, some requires financial backup, some provides financial benefits, some very easy to implement, and so on. For each sector and even subsector, different best available techniques are defined. For example, appropriate planning of production, no financial burden. For example, rainwater harvesting applicable to many sectors. For example, usage of machinery with low liquor ratio in textile wet processing. This requires a financial backup. Producing different plants in the same facility on different lines or using different equipment. This best available technique is valid for a lot of sectors like chemicals, pharmaceutical, paint, etc. Let me give you the example of pharmaceuticals. In an industry, both hypertension and stomach pills are coated in a certain type of equipment. If this facility applies this best available technique, it has different machines used for hypertension and stomach pills, so the cleaning requirement is reduced, water input is reduced, wastewater generation is reduced, and we get lower pollutants in wastewater. Multiple products are produced in the same facility using a single production line, valid for a lot of sectors like textile dyeing, paint, etc. Let me give you the example of textile dyeing. If we are dealing with a cotton towel dyeing industry and we start dyeing big batches of dyeing operations with light colors and then move slowly dyeing darker colors, we do not need to clean the equipment after dyeing in yellow color and start to dye red color towels. So with this we have reduced water input, reduced wastewater generation, and we have lower pollutants in water. Let us move further. What happens when we define industrial pollution in a way to cover both manufacturing plants and the products and their life cycles? Apart from BATs related to implant control and end-of-pipe treatment of the industrial processes, design of products gains importance. Why we have to give attention to the design of products? The answer of this question arises new questions. Are there any other products with the same function? If no, the facility should follow BATs during the manufacturing. Search for better design. Try not to mix plastics in order to have an easy dismantling at the end of life stage. If yes, which one is better for environmental pollution control? What is the meaning of products with the same function? To have a better sight, we use contact lenses. Either we have monthly contact lenses or daily contact lenses. To dry our hands, we have cotton towels, paper towels, or blow hand dryers. Which one is better in terms of pollution? What life stages and processes should be investigated? These are the questions. Contact lenses, life stages cradle to grave, processes daily, manufacturing of lenses with a box, monthly manufacturing of lenses with a box, lens preservation solutions, lens box for daily use. When we come to the towels, hand drying processes, we have in cotton towel, we have cotton cultivation, industrial cotton processing, towel manufacturing, washing during use phase, and end of life phase. Paper towel, cellulose raw material production, industrial manufacturing, and then end of life phase. For blow hand dryer, we have similar life stages that should be covered. Industrial pollution control, in order to reach a satisfactory outcome, industrial pollution control should adopt a life cycle thinking. By doing so, we can optimize the transportation routes and vehicles, waste minimization during manufacturing, use, and end-of-life stages should be fulfilled. How can we decide on which alternative has the lowest unwanted environmental impacts? Life cycle assessment gives us objectives. objective values on this. I don't want to get into the details of the life cycle assessment methodology because it's a known thing, so I will skip this slide quickly. Digitalization is another important development. With digitalization, it is possible to detect deviations during the life stages at an early level. Optimization is also eased with digitalization. So let me move to the conclusions. To end up with a sound industrial pollution control, application of best available techniques for implant control and end-of-pipe treatment during the manufacturing stage, adoption of life cycle thinking that covers product design to lower the unwanted environmental impacts at all stages of product life cycle are necessary. Using life cycle assessment methodology will guide the actions to be taken on the road to sustainable industrial development. By doing so, robust decisions can be made. Digitalization is a handy tool in reaching industrial pollution control. Thank you very much for your interest. Again, I would like to repeat my congratulations to Professor Gökçekuş and his team for organizing this highly beneficial event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fatoş Hocam. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution to our conference. Now we will continue with Nrsem2025 presentation.
Hi everyone, I am Professor Dr. Nrsem2025. Today I will present environmental sustainability in tourism and natural resources management and evaluation within the scope of sustainable marketing approaches. And the purpose of the study is first of all, of course, examining sustainability focused on environmental sustainability and natural resources management in tourism. And the connect the sustainability with sustainable and green marketing and strategies, and of course the end of this study put the strategic recommendations, provide actionable advice to tourism stakeholders. Why environmental sustainability matters? Tourism relies heavily on natural and cultural resources, and overuse leads to biodiversity loss, pollution, and climate vulnerability. And environmental degradation weakens destination competitiveness and long-term viability. And of course, in sustainability, there are three components: social, economic, and environmental. And all of them is directly related with the tourism industry. And today we discuss the environmental perspective. And if we look at the environmental impacts of tourism, the first of all, we can say the resource consumption, high water and energy usage. Another one is the ecosystem degradation, land use change and habitat loss. And of course, the waste and emission increase the waste generation and carbon footprint. And when you look at the concept of the environmental sustainability, it's defined by the Brundtland report. It emphasizes using the resources within the ecosystem, carrying capacity, and protecting biodiversity, and ensuring intergenerational equity. And the common points of the research is that they drove the attention to the contradictory nature of tourism, which both uses and trends natural and cultural attractions and emphasize environmental sustainability as a necessary condition for the long-term competitiveness of destination. And the one of the perspectives of our research is in natural resources management in the tourism. As efficient use of water, energy, land, and biodiversity is critical for long-term destination viability. And carrying capacity also defines the sustainable limits. Existing these causes irreversible damage and affects local quality of life. Sustainability in the tourism sector is considered one of the fundamental components of the natural resources management. And the tourism is a sector that is highly dependent on natural resources, especially due to water and energy consumption, land use, and pressure on sensitive ecosystems. Therefore, effective natural resources management is critical for the long-term viability of destination. And for example, nature-based tourism and recreation activities concentrated in the forest areas can lead to negative and environmental impacts such as deforestation, habitat fragmentation, increased pressure on flora and fauna, and increased fire risk if appropriate planning and carrying capacity analyses are not carried out. Studies in the literature reveal that when the environmental dimensions of sustainable tourism is not sufficiently considered, short-term economic gains weaken the competitiveness destinations in the medium and long term and lead to erosion of the natural and cultural attractions. And the carrying capacity and overuse also we discussed is defines the sustainable limits of the resource use. And the existing limit causes irreversible environmental damage and also affects local quality, life, and social sustainability. The studies conducted in the island and coastal destinations indicate that the relationship between tourism development and water and energy supply should be reconsidered within the framework of the concept of carrying capacity of natural resources. And when we look at this marketing perspective, the sustainable marketing in tourism, the 3 points gains the importance. One of them is the long-term value, focus on creating the lasting value over short-term profit. The other one is the responsibility, integrate the environmental and social responsibility, not only tourism establishment perspectives, also tourists can be part of this responsible tourism movement. And the stakeholder focus adopt a stakeholder-oriented marketing perspective. And of course, to reach this green marketing the process, there's some green practices and eco labels is possible in the international area. As the eco-friendly options, it can be the energy and water efficiency, waste reduction, and green transport. The other one, we know that a lot of certification system, especially support for the some international associations, is the eco labels like Green Key and Blue Flag provide credibility and spread the use the environmental protection. And the consensus tourists they prefer eco-label destinations driving demand for sustainability. We know that, and also the research shows that the people they search the eco-friendly hotels and eco-friendly destinations, and they want to be part of this environmental protection. Is also create the awareness, the importance of the environment and nature resources management in the tourism industry. When we look at this image, it also shows us the sustainable tourism perspectives according to our topics, from environmental impact to strategic advantage. This image summarizes the transition of tourism from negative environmental impacts to a sustainable advantage. On the left, problems such as high energy, carbon emission, existing water use, waste production, existing carrying capacity are highlighted. The fact that tourism is independent on nature but destroyed, it is presented as a fundamental dilemma. The bridge in the middle symbolizes the transition from these problems to a solution with the renewable energy and environmentally friendly practices. On the right side, it is stated that the sustainable tourism is the solution. Sustainable marketing, building trust with the eco-labels, meeting the demand of the environmentally conscious tourist, and overall, the image explains that sustainability is not only a necessity, but also a strategic advantage for the tourism sector. And when we come to the key findings and recommendation to our research, first one, of course, is it gains the strategic advantage. Environmental sustainability is a key competitive advantage. And additional this integrate the sustainability. Businesses must aim sustainability into core strategies and strengthen the frameworks. Sustainable marketing support and competitiveness and resilience is a key findings to our research. And the conclusion, tourism sustainability is both an environmental and strategic issue, also we discussed, and sustainable marketing is a key transformation tool ensuring long-term success through natural resource protection. And our main recommendations for businesses and for policymakers: for businesses, integrate sustainability into core strategies, support green claims with real practices, use eco-labels and transparent communications. And the last one, recommendations for policymakers: strengthen regulatory frameworks, plan tourism based on carrying capacity, and of course, encourage stakeholder participation. And thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Nrsem2025, for your valuable contribution to our conference, as always. Now, we have successfully completed session 3. We will continue with session 4 at 2:15 with local time. Thank you.